Okay, so we have so far considered all the different scalar types in Python. So we have numeric, integer and floating point, string, and we have date time data type, and of course the none data type, and then there is Boolean. They are often, I mean, they are not used that frequently. Okay, so now we're going to look at a couple of additional, okay, basic functionality of Python. So there will be program control flow, or how the execution occurs. Okay, so it's going to do one line at a time, right? If you have a cell, and in that cell you have a bunch of code, bunch of lines of code, it's going to go from one line to the next line to the next line to the next line to the next line. Now, in that flow, you can control. Okay, you can use two different types of control. One is the if control. So you say, if a particular condition is true, then you do this, and if it is not true, do something else, like in Excel. Okay, so that's one type of flow control that you can do. The second is looping. You have a bunch of lines of code, and you want that code to be repeated X number of times. And that looping, there are two ways in which you can do this. You have a for loop, and then we have a while loop. Okay. For loop is over a particular bunch of elements. Okay. Once you complete all the elements, then you're done. The while loop, on the other hand, is you keep looping until a particular condition is true or false. If condition is satisfied, then you stop. So those are the two kinds of control. So you have if, elif, and else. This is the syntax for that. And then we have two different loops. And ternary expression is actually, it is part of if. So I have added, I moved, you may have it in a different place. I have moved the ternary expression with if. Okay, so we're going to look at if first, and then we will look at the loops. Okay, and the if function is pretty straightforward. You've already done it in Excel, so the same thing. So we have a condition, and this condition can be a simple condition like this, x less than 0, or it can be a compound condition. So you can have one condition and another condition, or one condition or another condition, or a bunch of conditions. So of course we don't want to make it too complicated, because if you do that, then it becomes hard to understand later on. So you may perfectly understand it by the time you write the code, but even a couple of weeks later you come back and look at it, it's confusing. So you don't want to make it too complicated. So this is the simple if function. So we have, just for illustration, I set x equal to 5. So if x is less than 0, and then I have a colon. So you have the condition, simple condition or a compound condition, whatever it may be. At the end of the condition, you put a colon. So the colon indicates that you're done with the condition. So if and the colon, in between is the condition. So after the colon, then you have the code, and you see that once you get to the next line, Python is going to automatically indent for you. This indent is crucial. This indent is what tells Python that this is to be executed if the condition is true. So if you don't indent, it will give you an error. See, right now, if I run, so it runs okay, right? So if I don't have an indent, if I run, it will give an error. So expected an indented block. It says I'm expecting, see, after this if condition, I'm expecting an indented block, and I don't see anything. So it's giving us an error. So, and as you see, once you write the condition, you press enter, you get automatically indented. You don't have to indent yourself. Okay. All right. So now you really don't need this because else is optional. Okay, I'm going to X it out. See, if x is less than 0, you print, but x is 5, it's not less than 0, so it does nothing. Right? Now, optionally, we can have an else. Okay, again, here you can have any number of lines of code. If the condition is true, not just the one line, okay, you can have any number of lines, and then once the indented block is over and the code goes to the beginning of the line, so then that's your if block. The if block is over now. Okay, so say for example, I take that out. If I do this, then you see, so what that is, you're out of it, and then this is printed. Okay, so this will get printed no matter what, because it is out of. So if I have minus 5 there, then the condition is true, and that will get executed, and then once you get to the unindented line, then you know that the if block is now completed. This is a new line of code, so both will get. Okay. Oops. Okay. So, and then if you optionally, you can have an else statement. Okay, once again, you put a colon after the else, and then it's going to get indented, and the indented lines, you can have as many lines as you want, will be the code that will be executed if the condition is not true. Okay. Now, the elif is if you want to nest an if function within an if function, then you use elif. So if x is less than 0, so do this. Elif, okay, so that means this will get executed only if that is not true. So this is, if it is not less than 0, then this is going to check a second condition, and then print that, and then you have the else. Okay. So you have if by itself, you don't have to have an else. You can have if and then an else, and then if you have if and then you have an elif. If you have elif, you can keep on having many elifs if you like. I mean, of course, too many elifs, then it becomes really confusing. You want to keep it to the minimum. Okay, and finally, ternary expression is the if function in one line. Suppose if you have a simple if condition that you want to use, and you don't want too many lines of code to minimize the, to make it more efficient. So this is okay. So the if condition comes after what you want to do. So this has to be a one-line code, by the way. So you cannot have many lines. So you do this if x is greater than 0. Okay. So what you want to do if the condition is true comes first. Okay. And then else the other one. Okay. So that's our ternary expression. Okay, let's see whether we'll do loop. Okay, let's do I'm skipping the loop part because we don't have time. So we'll do loop on Thursday. So 19, your turn 19 is just if. So let's do 19 and then we will be done for today. So set age to 50, excuse me. Now write an if code to print teenage, middle age, and over the hill, assuming less than 60 is middle age. Test the code for different ages. Okay, so we're going to do if age. Okay, so go ahead and finish up the code. So we have 19. So we can have less than or equal to 19, okay, or we can say less than 20, if you want to do less than 20. So that's a condition, okay, and you end the condition with what? With a colon. Okay. So you have if age is less than 20. Okay, now if I enter, it's going to indent automatically for us. Okay. Then you print. And the next topic after the loop is printing, how to format printing. We'll do that a little later. So print what? Teenage. Right? Okay, now. So now it's prompting us for more code if the condition is true. Okay, you have more code to run if the condition if age is less than 20. Okay. But we are done, so we backspace out. So now we are now out of the condition is true. Okay. We still have two conditions left, right? So that's why we use elif. Okay. So else, so we're going to apply a second condition, which is what? Age. And again, there are more than one way of doing this. So we can say so less than 60 is middle age. So we can say if age less than 60, okay, colon middle age, or we can say age greater than or equal to 60 and then say over the hill, right? So now elif, again, since it is a new if condition, you're automatically indented. Okay, so now print middle age. And once again, we are prompted for more lines of code if the second condition is true. Okay. You can have any number of lines of code at this point. So now we are done. Okay. Now finally, if those two conditions are not true, then you must be greater than or equal to 60. So you have to have else. So that's your final finishing off part of the code for the if statement. And once again, you must have a colon, right? And then you say print so now go ahead and test it. Okay, now let's go change the age to Okay? All right, so we have 1 minute over. See you Thursday.